Hey, well, it didn't even give me any warning. It just started it right up. Well, that's okay. I was gonna go put my earbuds in and get the microphone going, but whatever. If we're live, we're live, so we'll go. Also, I have 15% battery, so at least this will help me keep it within reason because I have a tendency to talk and talk and talk. So, hey, at least with a low battery, I can only yammer so much, right? So, hi, if you don't know me, my name's Amanda. Good morning, Cammie. Morning, Jen. I just wanted to come on here for a few minutes and just talk to you guys about comparison because it is such a dangerous thing. And it's something that we don't talk about because if you admit that you're comparing, I think that we feel like that's a weakness, but really it's something we're all so susceptible to. Comparison is truly the thief of joy. We talk about this a lot. That's one of my favorite quotes in my challenge groups. And the reason is because you've got to look at somebody's whole journey. And when we are on social media, we just see somebody's snapshot, right? We just see, good morning, guys. We just see where they're at today, or even maybe their best self, their best version of today. Hello, good morning. And that's great. That's great. I love social media. I use it to run my business. I use it to coach my challengers, my clients, to try and help my coaches on my team. And I run my entire business with social media. So I love it. It allows me to stay connected to people. It allows me to build friendships that I wouldn't have the time nor the ability to do in my real life. So it's a powerful tool and I love it. But we have to remember that what that also does is it gives us this brief little glimpse into somebody's best day, the best moment of their day, right? And so oftentimes I think that it's really easy to get sucked into that comparison thing without even realizing we're doing it. Because we see somebody's vacation photos and we think, God, I wish I could take my family on a vacation like that. Or we see somebody's, like for instance, my photo today, my before and after I shared, I started my fitness journey 5 years ago. And in that time, people think that a physical transformation is often a linear thing. Like you're going to start up here and you're just going to slowly progress until you hit that goal and then you'll stay there. But that's not really logical or realistic. It looks more like this, you know? Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days, sometimes you go up in weight, sometimes you go down, sometimes you fall off the wagon, sometimes you get back on. But ultimately, it's your journey. So you really have to be careful not to compare your page 10 to someone else's page 20 or 50 or, your page 1 is your day 1, right? Well, if I'm 5 years in, I'm already at over 2,000 days of this journey. So does that mean I don't make mistakes? Hell no, it doesn't. I make mistakes all the time. Does it mean I don't get sucked into maybe looking at someone else and going, gosh, she's been doing this as long as me, but look at her body, or look at that person. They eat like crap and she's like rocking a size 6. Or, those things, they're easy to slip into your mind, but it's just a way of your brain trying to make an excuse for you. Just being honest right now. It's nothing more than an excuse. The same thing goes for business. Well, she has this result and this result and this result, but you don't know the amount of time that goal took behind the scenes that you're not even seeing. How many TV shows were watched? How many Netflix series how many seasons is Game of Thrones? Does everybody and their mom watching it and talk about it? Yes. Have I seen it? No. Sorry, I'm a loser. I can quote you some Seinfeld, and I watched a lot of Judge Judy when I was bigger. But I'll tell you what, I don't have time for that shit anymore. I'm just being honest. My priorities have changed. My goals have changed. Does that mean I don't watch TV? No, sure it does. It just means that I can't get hung up on what everyone else is doing because their priorities might not be my priorities. And you have to be okay with that. You have to find strength in that. One thing, like, for example, someone taught me this last winter was when I was having a hard time with seeing someone at work who was eating all these treats that kept getting brought in and put at the nurse's station. And they just were eating them like they had a hollow leg, and they didn't feel any guilt about it. Amen is right. They didn't feel any guilt about it. They didn't bother them at all. But guess what? Their journey isn't my journey. But I felt guilty if I was to say, well, I don't want to look like them, so that makes me feel better about not eating them. I don't like to think negative thoughts like that about someone else, even when they come creeping in. And someone else gave me this perspective. And I can't remember who. I wish I could. If it was a book I read or if it was someone I knew. I believe it was one of the mentor podcasts I listened to. But what they said was, now I just brain farted. Sorry, I've been working all night. I'm like, now where to go? What, I can't remember exactly how they put it now, of course, since I'm on the spot, but it's just the beauty of a live video. But the ultimate thing was, instead of saying, I don't want to look like how they look, I have to say, my health goals are not their health goals. Does that make sense? So ultimately, if I look at the life that person is living, and it's not just do they have the abs I want, but it's do they have the lifestyle I want? Are they living an overall healthy life like I want? Then I can't compare what they're doing to what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because we are two different people and we have two whole different sets of goals. And I know nothing about what their priorities are unless they've told me. And I think oftentimes we like to think we already know someone else's priorities and struggles and goals, because not necessarily because we want to judge them, but because maybe we feel like we're open and intuitive and thoughtful, and so we must know what's going on with them. But we don't. There's some things that, in my personal life, there's things that are happening that virtually no one knows about outside of my immediate family because it's not my journey to share. Yet those things affect me on a daily basis. And I struggle with them a lot, especially the last few months. But they're not something that I'm able to share because they're not my story to share, even though they affect me. So remember that when you look at someone else and you're thinking, what's their life like? What are they struggling with? Look at how they look. Look at what they have. Another thing I want to say is, people, just because they have all the nice things and wear the nice clothes and take the big trips doesn't actually mean they can afford those things. Okay? Like, I was just talking to someone at work 2 nights ago about getting your medical degree. And we were talking about school loans and all the politics of that and getting them waived, and how people I said, well, when you graduate medical school, the starting doctor salary at where I work is $100,000 flat. That's the base starting salary. And they said, yeah, but you have all those school loans and all this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but you can have those same amount of loans and be a teacher making $40,000 or $50,000 or $60,000 a year. But those teachers don't necessarily go out and get a sports car or a nice house or whatever right off the bat because they can't afford it, because they have these same equal level school loans, right? So what a lot of doctors or lawyers or people, good morning, hi guys, thanks for the waves, what they get sucked into is playing that, keeping up with the Joneses, that comparison game, looking the part, right, of a doctor or a lawyer or a successful person, whatever we've determined success to be. So if success for you looks like having that house because now I've graduated and I've got my degree, when in reality, if they had graduated and kept living in the exact same lifestyle they're living right now, the same budget, even upgraded just a little bit to where they got to eat out once a week and go on a date once a week, because those are things like we often have to let go when we're living on a budget. If they were doing those things, they wouldn't be $150,000 in debt for the next 20 years because they just got a $60,000 a year salary raise, right? So if you went from being a poor college student to a doctor, even at the starting salary of $100,000, you should be able to chuck $50,000 a year at that student loan if you didn't change your lifestyle, right? So, Sorry, I'm gonna get my lashes done today. My girl just texted me, so I gotta get off of this. And I'm rambling anyway. But really, the ultimate moral of the story is just that. Comparison is the thief of joy. You don't want to look at someone else's chapter 10 and look at that and feel like a failure at where you're at right now, whether that's in your business goals, whether that's in your personal goals, or whether that's in your health and fitness goals. Because I'm in my challenge groups leading people who are starting their journey on day one. And I can tell you right now, I remember exactly what it feels like. And sometimes, I promise you, Scouts Honor, it still feels like day one for me. I have my leaner days, I have my weaker moments, but no matter what, I keep pushing, I keep going, and I don't give up. Good morning, Denise. So that's something I want you to keep in your head when you're struggling, or if you have a moment where you're thinking, I should be farther, I should be doing better, I should be more successful, my business should be farther along, my fitness journey, I should have a six-pack by now. We all have different stories, and we all have different circumstances and sets of emotions and, things that pop into our lives. And yours is your unique journey. So embrace it and love it, and love on yourself a little bit. Be a little forgiving. Give yourself the same grace you would give someone else. And just know that you're writing your own story, and it doesn't have to look like anyone else's but yours. Okay, you guys, I hope that helps you on your journey today. I needed to hear it myself, so I wanted to share it with you. Thank you for all the loves and hearts. And if you do need help, I have an awesome challenge starting soon, 60 Days of Summer. And we are going to be kicking off here in 2 weeks. We're going to do a 60-day challenge. You only have to work out 4 days a week. We're going to focus on your nutrition, your portions, your motivation, getting through the summer barbecue season and actually eating real food. So if you want just like a 5 shake a day, I don't eat food plan, to the left, keep going. But if this sounds like something you want to do, if you want to work on making these slow, positive, incremental changes in your life one day at a time, then I want to help you. So send me a message right here on the video, add a comment, DM me, slide into my DMs, and I will answer your message, tell you all about the group, and hopefully get you in there, because I'm going to rock the next 2 months on my journey. And I'm going to support everyone in there every step of the way. And I would love it if you were one of them. Have a great day, you guys. Love you. Bye.